This is Marcus Dupree, and many of you probably don't know him, because out of those who do, he is widely considered to be the best that never was. But in order to help you guys understand what I mean, let's quickly jump back to 1981, where Marcus Dupree had established himself as not one of, but the top back in the nation. It looked like he was 100% on his way to becoming a future NFL superstar, until one day, Marcus Dupree would tear up everything in his left knee, and not only would he never be the same again, but he would never get the chance to see just how great he could possibly be. So today I am putting Marcus Dupree into college football 26. Let's see how his career would have turned out if things would have went a little bit differently, as we follow him on his road to glory. Now, going into Marcus's last year of high school, if you had said that he was good at football, that would be an extreme understatement, especially heading into the back half of his senior year. Because a lot of times when Marcus was out there, man, it looked like he was playing against the JV team, maybe even the freshmen. I mean, he was always finding a way to pick up a first down. And believe it or not, there were some games where Marcus would only have a few carries because he was taking these to the crib almost every time he touched them. Get off. Oh yeah, Marcus Dupree is looking like a special player at this point. He began getting scholarship offers from all over the country, and he figured that if he can maybe land an offer from a really big school, then he might be able to make his little brother Reggie proud. You see, Marcus's brother grew up with cerebral palsy, and Marcus figured since Reggie will never be able to run, then he might as well do everything he can to run for him. And that definitely looked like what Marcus was doing as he helped his team win another game. Now, with a couple games left in his senior year, Marcus was continuing to earn scholarships, and a lot of people considered him to be the #1 player in the nation. And he was beginning to get visits from some of the head coaches of top colleges in the country. I mean, Marcus Dupree was the kind of running back where pretty much every single coach would do anything for just to get him on the team. And Marcus would show why every game day.
The handoff to Dupree, breaks the tackle, 40, 45, 50, open field, 45, 40. Goodbye, Marcus. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. The miracle freshman, Marcus Dupree.
Now, as his senior year is coming to a close, Marcus is now taking his recruiting a lot more serious. He was talking to coaches before games, and sometimes they would even challenge him to come up with a big play. And it wasn't too surprising that most of the time, Marcus had no problem coming up with one, as he just continued to dominate his opponents at the high school level, and eventually he would come to his final week of his high school career, where at this point Marcus is already considered to be a hometown legend in Mississippi. But soon Marcus was getting ready to take the field for his final game of his high school career, where it turns out that Marcus had no problem doing what he had continuously done over the past 4 years. He had shown that he could run by you, run around you, or even run through you. And to be honest with you, y'all, Marcus did start to feel like the level of competition in high school was a little too easy. So soon he was ready to put an end to his high school career as the #1 player in the country. And he knew that it was finally time for him to make his decision on his college football career.
Well, next year, you will see me at the University of Oklahoma.
Now that Marcus Dupree is officially with the Oklahoma Sooners, he wants to wear number 22, but the coaches gave his number out to another freshman. So he was not happy about that, but for now he decided to wear 26 and absolutely ball out at practice to hopefully earn himself a better number. I mean, Marcus was actually doing so well at practice that the coaches realized that he was a lot better than they thought. He was already looking like he could be one of the best running backs in the country. But unfortunately, going into week 1, Marcus Dupree is the 4th string running back, and word would get out that Marcus's mom was not happy about his situation. But Marcus would sit out all throughout his first game, and even the camera crew wondered why he wasn't getting any action. Now, even though Oklahoma was actually doing pretty well, winning some games over the next few weeks, a large part of the Oklahoma fan base felt like the offense would be a lot more explosive if they had Marcus Dupree at running back. So despite winning some tough games, the head coach Barry Switzer is actually under fire. The people wanted to see what Marcus could do. And now all of a sudden he had a chance to go from the bottom of the depth chart to a feature back in their upcoming game. And it did not take long into the next practice for the coaches to see that Marcus was just too good to keep off the field. So he ended up earning a spot as the backup running back. And on top of that, since 22 was still not available, they decided to offer him a different jersey number going into the next game, and soon he was locked in with number 1.
Right here, number 1.
But now it is time for Marcus Dupree to officially make his college football debut, as he will actually be facing off against one of the top teams where he grew up, with the Oklahoma Sooners heading on the road to face off against Mississippi State. Now Marcus would actually make his debut here early on in the first quarter, where he did not pick up that many yards. But as the game went on and they gave him some more carries, it looks like he's doing a little bit better. They bring him back in later on a 2nd and 7, where he ends up getting stopped in the backfield, ultimately resulting in the drive ending in 3 points, and now the coaches feel like they're ready to give him one more chance to show them what he can do, bringing us to a 1st down and 10 on his 4th carry of the game, where Marcus Dupree was out of there. He seen one safety coming this way, he said, "Hey," snatching his ankles, and all of a sudden Marcus Dupree's in the end zone for his first touchdown of his college football career. Now for some reason Marcus wasn't getting a chance to play much going forward, but they did bring him back in at the end of the first half, where after coming up with this catch, he has a wide open lane to the end zone, and Marcus Dupree was putting up his 2nd score of the afternoon in his debut. He was proving that he can make an impact for the #1 team in the nation. And it turns out that his efforts were enough to help the Sooners dominate Mississippi State, blowing them out 27-7, and Marcus definitely had a solid debut with 2 touchdowns. He played a lot better than the other running back off of less carries, which is probably why head coach Barry Switzer pulled Marcus aside and told him that he was happy with what he had been doing. But Marcus was kind of confused as to why he was still a backup. But it was all good to him though. He was going to keep working hard, and he knew that any opportunity he got in his next game, he was going to take complete advantage of. So he was locked in heading into a matchup against probably the biggest rival in his school's history, as the Oklahoma Sooners are set to face off against the Texas Longhorns. So we got Marcus Dupree in here early in the first quarter, ready to take a handoff, and oh shit, Marcus Dupree is gone. Marcus Dupree, he has taken this one the distance on his 1st carry of the game for a touchdown, making an impact already for his team as he puts them up by 7 points, but for some reason the coaches didn't bring him back in until the end of the first half. They called a screen pass to him though, where he said, "Excuse me," and then jumped over some guy for a 1st down. Despite playing well though, man, the coaches did not bring him back in until the 4th quarter. Where down by 8 points, the Sooners absolutely needed somebody to make a play. So Marcus Dupree decided to come out here and say, "Hey." Oh yeah, he got open space. Oh yeah, he gone. It looks like the street lights must have come on, because Marcus Dupree is going to the crib. He puts up a score that gives his team a chance to tie this game up. And although they do not, with less than 40 seconds left, the Sooners still do have a chance to come up with a win. But they try to hand the ball off to Marcus, who immediately gets stuffed in the backfield, and they take him out the game right after just to put him back in. And they gave the ball back to Marcus to see if he can find a way to come up with a play. And dang, Marcus was able to bring his team into field goal range. He tried to put his team in a position to take the lead, but unfortunately they couldn't get it done. And the Oklahoma Sooners were taking their 1st loss of the season, dropping this one 21-19 against their biggest rival. But on the bright side, Marcus actually played pretty well. And on top of that, he was getting a ton of recognition around the sports world. Teams realized that Marcus Dupree would be a big problem if they had to match up against him. So the coaches felt like they had no choice but to finally give him a chance to be the starter. And it turned out to be another practice where Marcus just simply did not disappoint. He was looking like the best player on the team. And rightfully so, he would officially earn the spot as the #1 running back for Oklahoma. Marcus Dupree was just a true freshman, but it was obvious that he was special. And he was hoping that he would be able to keep proving it going into his first home game as a Sooner, as Oklahoma is set to face off against Texas A&M. Now early on in this one, this Oklahoma offense just could not get it together on this opening drive. They end up getting stopped on 3rd down and were forced to punt, and it actually didn't seem too much different on their next drive, as Marcus Dupree was getting dropped in the backfield, forcing them to settle for 0 points again, and this trend continued all throughout the first half, as even though Marcus was trying to make some plays, he was not able to get it done. And by the second half, the Sooners were down by 17 points. But Marcus Dupree was doing everything he could to change that. He came up with an incredible play here that resulted in one dude getting his ankles obliterated. Oh yeah, he done after this, but I definitely don't think Marcus is done, because soon after this play, he leads his team down to the goal line, where he is able to come up with his first touchdown of the game, putting up points that gives his team a chance to come back as they get the ball again down by 2 possessions. And it turns out that Marcus got some teammates who can play too, as this guy was embarrassing the A&M defense, coming up with a play that resulted in him being in the end zone for 6 points. And just like that, Oklahoma is only down 3, but then their defense actually comes up with a touchdown themselves. And hey, somehow the Sooners are able to pull off a 17-0 second half comeback. Oklahoma pulls this one out 21-17 in a game where Marcus rushed for 93 yards and got a touchdown. He had played well in his first game as a starter, so his little brother Reggie was definitely proud when he saw him play on TV. Now at this point in the season, Oklahoma is the 4th ranked team in the nation. But head coach Barry Switzer has been telling the team that they have to get back to the #1 spot. The only way they'll have a chance to do so though is if they find a way to take down their next opponent, who just so happens to be the #1 team in the country, as Oklahoma is now heading on the road to face off against the Florida Gators. Now this Oklahoma offense was actually moving pretty smoothly early on until these Florida referees decided to call a fumble on Marcus. That man's whole elbow and knee was down. Yeah, they trying to cheat. Florida goes up 7-0 off a turnover, and immediately after, they do a great job keying in on Marcus. It would be to the second quarter where Marcus would finally start making some plays and picking up some yards for his team that puts him in field goal range, bringing us to a 2nd down and 4 where Marcus took this ball around the edge before saying, "Get off." Oh nah, Marcus Dupree is going crazy. He took this one to the crib for a touchdown, tying this one up at 7. And it seems like that set the tone for his team because they come up with a turnover, and the Sooner offense is back down at the goal line where Marcus gets across for his 2nd score of the day. Marcus Dupree had gave his team the lead, and it felt like he had a chance to dominate this game going into the second half. Because when Florida tied this game back up at 14, Marcus knew he had to start making some plays. So that's why he decided to cut upfield, and oh my god, yo, Marcus Dupree is gone. He just got to beat this safety, which he easily does, and he was diving across the goal line for his 3rd score of the day. Marcus Dupree was different, and he had his team in position to take over, but some crazy stuff happens, and somehow this game ends up tied at 28 before Oklahoma comes out here and has a bad couple plays in a row that forces them to settle for a field goal, and as Florida would go down the field and tie it up, this game would go into overtime, bringing us to the first period where Oklahoma is down by 7, but Marcus Dupree got their back as he comes up with his 4th score of the day, and just like that, he is tying it up for his team, and they have a chance to take the lead now. Unfortunately though, they end up getting brought to a 3rd down and goal, where after Florida sends a blitz and keys in on Marcus, they stop him deep in the backfield, forcing Oklahoma to settle for 3, which results in them taking their 2nd loss of the season. The Sooners would fall to the #1 team in the nation by 3 points. And Marcus was already disappointed that his team couldn't pull this one out, but he felt a little bit worse after his coach Barry Switzer said that he has to be even better. And I mean, Marcus didn't know how to get better than winning the SEC Offensive Player of the Week for the first time in his career. He rushed for over 200 yards and still wasn't able to pull out the W? Yeah, that's bad, man. Marcus just chalked it up to being matched up against the #1 team in the country, and he was ready to move on into his next game. He had to help his team bounce back if they wanted any chance of getting to the national championship. So he knew he had to lock in as the Sooners were heading back home to face off against New Mexico. Now it didn't take long into this one for Marcus to make his impact felt, because after he broke off multiple tackles, he was already on his way to the end zone for a touchdown in the 1st quarter of the game. And I'll tell you guys right now, man, it did not seem like Marcus had any plans of stopping there. By the 2nd quarter, Marcus already had 100 yards rushing and was going in for his 2nd touchdown of the day. But in a game that turned out to be a little bit of a shootout against New Mexico, he knew he had to keep it up. And he definitely didn't seem to have any problem doing so.
35, 40, 35, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Yay, buddy! Christmas, what a run by Dupree!
Marcus Dupree broke 4 players' ankles at once. Oh, hell no. Just imagine playing against this. Like you're on defense, you're playing safety. You see Marcus Dupree coming your way, you gotta make a business decision. So you might even just wait till he's past you and let him glide to the end zone for a touchdown. And at this point in this game, Marcus already had 4. By the 4th quarter in this game, with New Mexico trying to keep this game close, he comes up with his 5th, bringing us to around 2 minutes left in this game, where Marcus Dupree comes up with his 6th touchdown of the night. He absolutely dominated New Mexico, and he was the main reason why the Sooners would end up with a 42-28 victory. Marcus ended up rushing for almost 200 yards and receiving for 100, doing enough to earn him another SEC and now a National Offensive Player of the Week. Marcus Dupree was becoming a household name. But most important, he knew that if he kept this up with a few games left in the season, then his team might have a chance to compete for a national championship. Marcus Dupree came out here in the game against Arkansas, dominating from the opening possession. It was pretty clear that there was going to be nothing that they can do to stop him on the ground, as he ended up scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half. But by the 4th quarter, Marcus was trying to show that he could play a little bit of receiver too, so they decided to give him a chance. And Marcus Dupree comes up with the play, hauling in a huge pass downfield, and honestly, he can't even believe this. This is the longest pass he ever caught in his life. You gotta make sure he's not dreaming or something, because this is crazy. But nah, he ain't dreaming. he and Oklahoma found a way to come up with a 23-12 victory against Arkansas. And with Marcus continuing to work hard and get better throughout the year, it was no surprise that the media couldn't get enough of him. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd say it's rightfully earned. I mean, Marcus is having an astounding season while only playing a handful of games. Like, he even has a chance to become the first true freshman ever to win a Heisman Trophy. And even if he doesn't win it, there are people who really feel like Marcus has a chance to become the greatest running back of all time. And that's definitely some high praise, but Marcus is only focused on what's in front of him at the moment. And right now, it's his final 2 games of the regular season, starting right here at home against Ohio. Now, when Marcus Dupree plays against tough teams, he still finds a way to come out here and have a great game. But when he plays against lower level teams like Ohio, he always has the chance to go crazy. I mean, Oklahoma was already up 27-11 before Marcus took a handoff and said, hey, he seen one dude trying to catch up to him, so he stiff-armed his ass to the dirt, making a play that brings his team to the end zone and brings him another W on the season. The Sooners were feeling great after this, and especially heading into their last game of the season. But little did they know that a battle against Vanderbilt would be much tougher than they thought. Now, Marcus Dupree was actually in the negative rushing yards before he would snatch these dudes' ankles, and just like that, he was gone. Nobody was going to catch Marcus on his way to the end zone as he puts up a score, and the crowd felt like this was the beginning of a blowout game, but it would actually end up going into overtime, where after getting stopped on 3rd down, Vanderbilt had a chance to win it, but they only tie and score a touchdown without a 2-point conversion. So Marcus made sure to take advantage on this next drive by smashing his way across the goal line, putting up some points that ties this game up. And the coaches had given it right back to him for the 2-point conversion where he crossed over, and after these points, Marcus had finally put an end to the regular season. Oklahoma comes up with a big overtime victory to close their season out, but despite having a great record, they did not do enough to earn themselves a spot in the conference championship game. And on top of that, it turns out that Marcus would not win the Heisman Trophy, losing out to a quarterback from Colorado who did have a pretty good season. But on the bright side, so did Marcus Dupree, as he earned himself the Sean Alexander Award along with the Doak Walker, the award for the best running back in all of college football. Marcus had a marvelous season while not even playing the full year. But despite all this, his head coach has taken time to let him know that he needs to be doing more. For whatever reason, Barry Switzer has been extremely hard on Marcus throughout the season. I mean, maybe he just wants Marcus to be better, but that's not really what Marcus responds to. Either way though, Marcus knew it was time for him to be as locked in as he's ever been, because he and the Oklahoma Sooners are heading into the college football playoffs. And yes, I know there was no playoffs back then, but who cares, because the Sooners are trying to get to the national championship. But the only way they can do that is by making it through their first round opponent, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Now, to start this game off, it did not seem like Marcus was having any problem running through this defense. He led his team to the goal line on a 2nd down where he tried to jump over somebody but got slammed to the ground, bringing us to a 3rd and goal where Marcus actually gets stopped in the backfield, and Oklahoma has to settle for 3. Now, things were starting to look not too great for Oklahoma after their quarterback threw a pick, allowing Notre Dame to take a 6-3 lead, which they would have a chance to extend after they catch another pick. And after Notre Dame puts up a touchdown, Oklahoma has a chance to fall behind in this one if they don't find a way to put up a score here. But it looks like Marcus understands what he has to do as he is breaking off Dang, Marcus. Dang! Marcus Dupree is dragging defenders across field inside the 30-yard line, eventually helping his team get down to the goal line with less than 30 seconds left in the half, where they came up with a score. But although Oklahoma did put up a touchdown, by the end of this one they would be down by 2 possessions with 2 minutes left. And it looked like they had no chance to make something happen, but Marcus came up with an incredible contested catch, bringing his team into scoring range. But after it seemed like it took too long for Oklahoma to put up some points, it looks like Notre Dame's about to put an end to Marcus Dupree's freshman season. But they don't. Hold on now, y'all. Oklahoma has a chance to make something happen. The only question is, can they do it? And whoa, who is this? Whoever this receiver is, man, he brought the Sooners into field goal range to send them to overtime. Where on the first possession, the Sooners would end up getting stopped on 3rd down, giving the Fighting Irish a chance to close this game out, but again, they can't get it done, ultimately allowing Marcus Dupree to eventually dive across the goal line, putting up a score that ties this game up. And now with the chance to win it, the quarterback would find a man over the middle, converting the 2 points that would go on to send Oklahoma to the next round of the playoffs. The Sooners closed this one out 34-32, led by another big game from Marcus Dupree. He continued to prove that he could play well against some of the best teams in the nation, And because of that, he was getting recognized by some of the biggest magazines in the sports world. But even though Oklahoma was winning, most of the attention was actually focused on the relationship between Marcus Dupree and his head coach Barry Switzer. Because when asked about his team's success this season, Marcus made sure to give credit to himself, and the media started to realize that there might be something going on in Norman, Oklahoma. Regardless, though, the Sooners were moving on to the next round, where they had a chance to get into the semifinals if they could just find a way to come up with another win in the Orange Bowl against the Miami Hurricanes. On the opening possession of this game, even though Marcus was doing pretty well, this team would still get stopped on third down. It wouldn't be till the end of the first quarter where Marcus would really start turning on the Jets, and soon he was out here breaking off tackles and bringing his team well across the 50 into scoring range. He got him down to the goal line where a couple plays later he dove across for a score, and now his team is up 7 with a lot of control after they still get the ball back, still up a possession. But somehow Marcus had over 200 yards on the day and still only had 7 points on the board. So Marcus realized that he had to change that, and he had a chance to do so after taking his handoff to the left side, and he was on his way to the end zone before saying, "Hey, oh my God, Marcus Dupree, oh my God." Even Marcus Dupree couldn't believe that he was doing this at the highest level in one of the biggest games of the year. He had scored a touchdown for Oklahoma that not only extended their lead, but did enough to send them to the next round of the playoffs. The Oklahoma Sooners closed this one out 14-7, and they can definitely thank Marcus Dupree, who had yet another dominant performance. He absolutely fried Miami up like some mozzarella sticks to send his team to the next round. But unfortunately, this next round was not going to be much easier, as Oklahoma was now heading into the Sugar Bowl, and with an opportunity to potentially make it to the national championship, they had to lock in and get the job done against another top 5 team in the country, as the Sooners are set to face off against the Michigan Wolverines. Now, with Michigan having one of the best run defenses in the nation, it did surprise some people that Marcus was still going crazy in the first quarter. But this Oklahoma offense would begin to have its struggles, especially after Marcus fumbles the ball, giving it away to Michigan, who takes the lead in the second quarter. So at least for a little bit, head coach Barry Switzer wants to take the ball out of Marcus's hands, and that looks like it's working out, because this receiver is able to come up with the catch and outrun this defense, taking this one to the crib for a touchdown to tie this game up. Unfortunately, though, Michigan would take the lead back, so they had all of the momentum. But you know what? It doesn't seem like Marcus is trying to go out like that. So he hits the defense with a little huss. And hey, yo, I don't even know what Marcus just did there, but he is gone. Marcus Dupree was taking this one to the end zone with less than 30 seconds left for a touchdown, helping the Sooners tie this game up at 14 before half. But now in the third quarter, it seems like Michigan is going to start keying in on Marcus, and they're trying not to let him gain too many more yards. Unfortunately for Michigan, though, there was really nothing they can do after he said, "Meow." Marcus Dupree just speed boosted past this defense, and soon he was getting across the goal line for a touchdown. He was helping the Sooners take the lead, and they would maintain it into the fourth quarter, where with 3 minutes left, they had a chance to go on a drive to put this game away. And it looks like they have a chance to after Marcus turns upfield, and oh yeah, what's he gonna do now? Huss. Marcus is out of there. It looks like he's about to take this one to the crib for a touchdown. Dang, bro, is that the Flash or something? Who was that? But it's all good, they didn't score a touchdown, man. Oklahoma is downfield in scoring position, and Marcus Dupree just made a play that helped his team get to the national championship. They take down the Wolverines 21-17. And the Sooners were definitely grateful for another 200-yard game from Marcus Dupree. He was having an astounding postseason, and Oklahoma really hoped he can keep it up heading into the national championship. They had an opportunity to get back to the top of the college football world. But if the Sooners really wanted to do that, they would have to find a way to take down one of the teams that they had lost to earlier in the season. As in the final game of the season, they are set to face off against the Florida Gators. Now, early on in this game, Marcus Dupree is so locked in, he's out here jumping over people who are not even there. But eventually he would help his team get inside the red zone, where they handed the ball off to the left side, and he had a wide open lane towards the end zone for the first points of the night. Marcus Dupree thought that he had set the tone for his team, and he felt good going forward in this game as they were up by 7 points. Unfortunately, this game would not only end up tied at 7, but it would remain that way until the second half, where Oklahoma was getting stopped on third down. The offense was just not able to get things going since that opening possession, and the Gators had finally taken advantage by taking the lead. Now bringing us to the fourth quarter, where Marcus is having a pretty good game, but he knows that he might have to do a little bit more if he wants his team to win. So on his first down and 10, he took a handoff to the left side before snatching his dude's ankles. And Marcus Dupree was now heading down the sideline, bringing his team all the way within the 5-yard line. He had his team in position to tie this game up, and just one play later, he would after diving across for a touchdown. And in a matchup where neither offense was really able to do too much, this score would actually send this game to overtime. where Marcus Dupree was trying to do his best to put his team on his back and get him downfield towards the end zone. But Florida was the number 2 team in the country for a reason, so they were definitely not making it easy. They brought Oklahoma to a 2nd down and 12 where they gave the ball to Marcus around the edge, and it looks like he's about to find his way to the end zone before fumbling the ball. Marcus Dupree somehow fumbles this ball, and the Florida Gators would take over, giving them possession, and just like that, Oklahoma would lose the national championship. And obviously Marcus Dupree was disappointed with himself after the loss, but what made things even worse for him is after the game, it turns out that his head coach Barry Switzer was talking crap about him, basically calling him fat and slow.
You think Marcus wasn't in shape for this game?
He's a little heavy. I think he probably was scored on 2 runs had he been at 228, but I think he's about 240. And holidays, layoff. He's going. He's a big man. He's just going to get big. So that'd be a little problem.
Now, despite what the coaches think, man, Marcus Dupree still played an incredible game. He was actually widely considered to be the best player on either team that night. And on top of that, he was easily considered to be the best running back in the nation. He had balled out all year with little to no credit from any of the coaches. So going into the offseason, he decided that maybe he should enter the transfer portal. And it wasn't long before the media started asking if he had any plans of returning to Oklahoma.
I'm not going back to Oklahoma, and I feel pretty good about it. It's my decision.
So under no circumstances would you return to the University of Oklahoma?
No, I would not. I would not go back to Oklahoma.
So Marcus Dupree was going to have to find another school to go to. And he definitely had a big decision to make, but I'll leave that decision up to you guys. If you want to see a part 2 of Marcus Dupree, be sure to get this video to 1,000 likes and subscribe to the channel down below. Also be sure to comment down below who else you guys want to see next, and let me know what school you think Marcus should go to. If you got to this point in the video, just know that I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Be sure to check out some of these other stories until the next one comes out. And other than that, I'm going to catch you guys next time.